This is how you shut down MAGA.
Let me tell you why nobody wants to talk to y'all behind closed doors, because y'all lie. That's just the bottom line. You have done it thus far in this investigation. You have done it this far as it relates to this committee. In every single hearing, y'all spin. I don't know how y'all are still standing right now, because you should be quite dizzy from all the spinning that you're constantly doing when it comes to spinning the truth.
We've seen this over and over again. We all know people like Marjorie Taylor Greene lie all the time.
In fact, you think that Speaker Pelosi is a traitor to the country, right?
I'm not answering that question. It's speculation.
You've said that, haven't you, Ms. Green, that she's a traitor to the country?
No, I haven't said that.
Okay. Put up Plaintiff's Exhibit 5, please.
Oh, no, wait. Hold on now. I believe by not upholding the securing the border, that violates her oath of office.
Fair enough. I'm not interested in her oath of office. I'm interested in that you said that she's a traitor to our country, right?
We also know that Republicans in power don't hold their own to the truth because they also lie.
The thing we need to do, and this is what we're about to, the House Republicans are about to enter legislation into the record that will ensure that no illegal can vote in a federal election. You have to prove you're a citizen instead of, as the law currently states, just checking a box to say it.
Are you saying that there are currently non-U.S. citizens voting in federal elections? And if that's what you're saying, then do you have an estimate of how many? And then a quick follow-up on what Democrats are saying about this bill. They're basically saying this is a huge part of the former president's revenge.
It's not been something that is easily provable. We don't have that number.
Their core, the Republican Party, is okay with deceiving their voters and their constituents because they've chosen this man as their leader.
You were talking about governors of different states, and you said, I want them to be appreciative. You also said, if they don't treat you right, I don't call. These are direct quotes, sir.
Excuse me, ready? You know the answer's a lie. You know that
I could read you your full comments, sir,
let me
if
just
that
say,
would be easier.
Your statement and your response and your answer is a lie.
What more specifically do you want the governor of Washington?
All I want them to do, very simple. I want them to be appreciative. I don't want them to say things that aren't true. I want them to be appreciative. We've done a great job.
These are just some examples of the Republicans and the MAGA Republicans lying and just messing with the facts. If you recall, it was Kellyanne Conway who said there's alternative facts. They just create their own facts. And at first, it seems kind of jokey and silly and, oh, you're just going to come up with your own truth. But it leads all the way to the point where when you lose an election, you could turn around and lie and say, I didn't lose the election. And then it can cause an insurrection and almost overthrow democracy. So it seems like some of the small lies are harmless, but eventually they become big and you have a constituency that believes your lies. So they just say whatever they want to say. For example, the recent case where obviously now Trump has been found guilty on all 34 counts of the defrauding the state in the New York case. They went out and they said that Alvin Bragg ran on saying that I want to go after Trump. I want to find him guilty. I want to get him. That's not the truth. That's not what happened. Alvin Bragg did not say that. And yet they claim that. So now it's a talking point. It becomes a talking point. And if you say a talking point enough, then you end up with your constituency believing it and saying, oh, they were out to get Trump. It wasn't that he actually falsified the records to try and win the election. It wasn't that. He didn't do anything guilty. It was that they were after him. So you see, these lies actually get to something. They actually become significant and they become dangerous, leading, like I said, to January 6th, where they went to the Capitol because some people there truly believed that the election was stolen. And they were ready to hang Mike Pence and they were ready to scalp Nancy Pelosi based on the lie. Just like Marjorie Taylor Greene in that earlier clip that you saw was saying that, no, I didn't say that Nancy Pelosi is someone who is a treasonous, a traitor. And then later on she came back and said, oh, well, yes, given what's going on the border, then that's a treasonous act. And so she was caught in her lie. Now, again, that might seem harmless enough, but it becomes harmful when you realize that a traitor can actually, or at least some of these MAGA Republicans, advocate for going after traitors to the full extent of the law, which includes sometimes execution. And you see, if these words and this type of reasoning gets into the heads of some of their crazier constituents, then you could run into situations where, for example, somebody actually tried to break into Nancy Pelosi's house, actually broke into Nancy Pelosi's house and went after her husband with a hammer. So these words and these lies actually have a significance. You can't just brush them off. And unfortunately, the Republican Party is not holding their own to any kind of standard when it comes to lies. They just go with the flow and they go with the talking points. Like you saw Mike Johnson in an earlier clip right there. He's the Speaker of the House, and he's talking about how illegal immigrants are voting in elections, which is not happening. That's not a thing. And yet they've made it seem like a thing so that you get more anti-immigrant backlash from their constituents. And you also are able to then go and try to pass harsher laws that will make it harder for people to vote, because ultimately the Republican Party wants less people to vote. Because if more people vote, there's more Democrats in the country than there are Republicans. And if more people vote, ultimately the Republican Party would lose every election. Donald Trump famously actually said that. One of the reasons they're so upset about the last election was that there was mail-in ballots. Because of COVID, there was more mail-in ballots, and they felt that that was somehow cheating to get Donald Trump to lose. And then, of course, they went on and on and on. So all of this stuff, again, these small lies that seem small at first, they seem insignificant. The lie that there's illegal immigrants voting en masse during the elections, it seems like, oh, that's just so wacky. It's such a small, wacky thing. But it becomes bigger and bigger when you start getting more and more anti-immigrant sentiment in this country, where you start getting people writing manifestos and going on shooting sprees against legal immigrants because they think that those people, just because they're the color of their skin is brown, that they are a threat to this country. So we need to keep our eyes on these people. We need to keep calling out the lies. We need to keep calling out the truth and reminding people that that what the talking points are from the MAGA Republicans is not reality. For example, one big thing right now in this election is the whole immigrant issue, the issue at the border, and the Republicans are running on that issue. But let's not forget that just recently the Democrats and the Republicans came together and they had a bill that they wanted to pass that was going to address some of the issues at the border. And Donald Trump famously told his own people in the party to not vote for it, even though his party had negotiated this deal. And a lot of Democrats didn't even like the deal, but they were going to go ahead and move forward with it to try to do something about immigration. But Donald Trump told them not to do anything because he wants to run on immigration. And now if you watch the right-wing media, they continue to say there's an immigration, a border issue, there's a border problem, but they don't remind their voters that it was their own party that decided not to do something about immigration. Matter of fact, there's been a couple of members of Congress that are Republicans who actually said that the Republicans stopped themselves from passing this. Or you have things like Mitch McConnell famously saying that the aid to Ukraine that has recently been passed, he said that it was slowly passed because of the Republicans. The Republicans are responsible for anything that happens in this war between Ukraine and Russia, and the Ukrainians not being able to defend themselves. But you won't hear that in most right-wing media because they want to lie and they want to make it seem like the Democrats are the problem, when in reality, the Republican Congress that we have right now has been one of the least effective Congresses in recent history. They haven't done nothing. So if you're watching this video and you voted for Marjorie Taylor Greene or you voted for Mike Johnson, please look into what they've done for your district. What have they done for you, for the people of these people, for the people that are their constituents? What have they done for you? Look at that, and then compare it with what the Biden administration has done for many of you in these states and these cities. Passing things like the infrastructure bill that's going to bring jobs to America, build more of the infrastructure that's needed for all these years, helping bring down some of the costs of Medicare, supporting unions. One of the first presidents that showed up at the protests that the union workers were having, the auto workers. So think about what those policies have done for you that came from the Biden administration versus all the lies that these Republicans want you to hear. And we know the grandest liar of all is Donald Trump because, hey, to him, everything's a witch hunt and he's never committed a crime. Guys, I'm comedian Maz Jobrani. I have a special on YouTube. It's called The Birds and the Bees. Check it out. It's free. And if you like it, tell your friends. If you don't like it, keep it to yourselves. Bye.